There's something quietly heartbreaking about watching two people lose something they never really saw coming. Not a sudden dramatic exit. Not a public falling out. Just a Friday morning slot, gone. 15 years of showing up, of early alarms and studio lighting and making millions of people feel like the day had properly begun, and then, one day, the phone call that changes everything. For Ruth Langsford and Eamonn Holmes, that moment arrived without the explanation they deserved. And what makes this story linger isn't just the decision itself. It's the fact that, according to those closest to them, Ruth was left genuinely struggling to understand why she and Eamonn had been dropped from their slot on this morning. Think about that for a second. They had hosted Friday morning slots and school holidays since 2006, covering for Holly Willoughby and Philip Schofield. That's not a fleeting arrangement. That's nearly a decade and a half of trust, of audiences tuning in specifically because Ruth and Eamonn were there. Some viewers practically scheduled their Fridays around them. And yet somehow, when the change came, there was no real clarity about why. Gloria Hunniford, Ruth's friend and loose women colleague, said she didn't fully understand the reasons either, and that Eamonn was clearly disappointed, with both of them finding it very difficult to make sense of the change. When someone as connected to the situation as Gloria is saying she can't quite get her head around it either, you start to wonder what kind of conversation, or lack of one, actually took place behind those ITV doors. There's a particular kind of hurt that comes not from being told you're not good enough, but from simply being replaced without a proper reason. Many viewers who followed this story online felt that instinctively. It almost seemed as though the decision had been made above their heads, at a level where their 15 years of dedication simply didn't carry the weight it probably should have. And what viewers noticed in the aftermath was how composed Ruth and Eamonn tried to remain publicly. They released a joint statement on Twitter wishing their replacements luck, a gesture that, honestly, said everything about who they are. Some audiences watching interpreted that quiet dignity as something deeply poignant, because it's one thing to leave gracefully. It's another thing entirely to do it while quietly carrying a confusion nobody fully explained to you. There's a possibility that ITV's reasoning was purely strategic, a shift in direction, a desire for something fresher on screen. Gloria alluded to the arrival of new, younger presenters and the channel trying to cater for different age groups. Yours, and maybe that's fair. Television moves. Audiences shift. But the way something ends matters just as much as the reason behind it. And for a couple who gave so much of themselves to that Friday couch, the manner of this exit left something unresolved. What stayed with so many viewers wasn't just the news of the replacement itself. It was imagining Ruth processing it, sitting with it, trying, as Gloria described, to simply understand. That's the word that keeps echoing, isn't it? Not anger, not bitterness, just a quiet, genuine bewilderment from someone who had done everything asked of her and still couldn't find a clear answer. There's something almost universally human about that feeling. Most of us have experienced a version of it at some point, the moment something you believed in, something you showed up for consistently, is taken away without the dignity of a real explanation. The setting may be a television studio, but the emotion underneath is one almost anyone watching could recognize. And perhaps that's exactly why this story continued to travel so far beyond the entertainment pages. It wasn't really about a presenting slot in the end. It was about loyalty, and what happens when that loyalty doesn't feel like it was fully honored in return. So what do you think? Did Ruth and Eamonn deserve more transparency from ITV? Drop your thoughts below, because something tells me this is a conversation that isn't quite finished yet.